Good afternoon. Welcome to this daily current affairs decoding emerging current issues lecture series. Okay, we are again starting this from the 1st April 2022, and as prelims is approaching, okay, so we will have some changes. We'll cover important MCQs based on your daily newspapers, okay, and along with that we will try to understand its analysis also, so that it will help you to get the MCQs and its explanation also. So let's start with the today's lecture series. You can download our PDF from the Telegram channel of Aakar, UPSC and MPSC. Okay, let's start with the first question of the today, okay, which is based on the today's newspaper. Okay, so the first question is, the Millennium Challenge Corporation Pact has been seen recently in the news. Now consider the following statements about the MCC Pact. Okay, the first statement is, MCC Pact is signed between Nepal and China. It was signed in 2017 by Nepal with the MCC Millennium Challenge Corporation. And the third statement is, MCC Pact seeks to boost the infrastructure development in the Nepal. Okay, you have to choose the correct options. Okay, you have to choose the correct statements from these three statements and you have to give your answer. Okay, so this Millennium Challenge Corporation Pact has been recently in the news. Nepal Parliament has signed it. Okay, it was signed not between Nepal and China, rather it was signed between Nepal and USA. Okay, USA's MCC Challenge Corporation. Okay, and it was signed in 2017 by this MCC, that is Millennium Challenge Corporation, with the Nepal. So first statement is wrong, second statement is correct. MCC seeks to boost infrastructure development in the Nepal in the power sector. This is a correct statement. So the answer is, your 2 and 3 are the correct statements. So answer should be B, and yes, answer is your B. Yes, the answer is your B. So Nepal House of Representatives has ratified this $500 million grant assistance Millennium Challenge Corporation Pact. So under it, the US will help $500 million grant assistance. It will provide $500 million grant assistance. Okay, and what is this MCC, that is Millennium Challenge Corporation? This Millennium Challenge Corporation, it was founded in 2004 and it is the US based body. It is a US foreign aid agency. It is the United States foreign aid agency that acts in accordance with the governments, okay, that have demonstrated a commitment to good governance, economic freedom and citizen investment. So okay, so those countries that have shown or that have demonstrated a commitment to the good governance, that have brought reforms in the economy, so that there is economic freedom and citizen investment. So those countries which are committed to this, okay, 3 pillars or values, for that countries, this US foreign aid agency provides, okay, help and infrastructure boost. Okay, so the MCC partnership with the Nepal, that is Millennium Corporation, this corporation partnership with the Nepal began in 2011 when the country requested the assistance. That is when the Nepal requested the assistance. This MCC first chose Nepal for a smaller threshold grant and subsequently in 2014 for a larger compact. Then as a consequence, 3 years after, okay, 3 years after, in September 2017, this MCC Nepal compact was signed with the US committing $500 million and Nepal committing $130 million. Now Nepal is expected to generate electricity infrastructure, okay, through this project, and which will be used to distribute power both domestically and to India. Furthermore, this MCC's implementation could boost Nepal's economy by increasing employment possibilities and increasing per capita income. Okay, now what are the various issues with the pact? So recently in the newspaper The Hindu, the editorial has, okay, uh, there in as in the newspaper for boosting India-Nepal ties. Okay, in that this MCC Pact has been mentioned. Okay, now what are the various issues with this MCC Pact? See, the MCC agreement has created a political divide in Nepal. Okay, and as the House of the Representatives has given approval to this pact, so there are protests against this MCC Pact. Okay, and also it is said that China is supporting the protest against this ratification of this MCC Pact. China is not happy with the involvement of the US in the Nepal. Okay, so the compact has been criticized in the Nepal as endangering the country's sovereignty, integrity, and constitutional autonomy. The claim that MCC agreement supersedes the national character shall prevail over the national domestic laws. So it is feared that this compact will replace the constitution, compromising the Nepal sovereignty. Okay, and also this MCC's inclusion in the Indo-Pacific strategy by the US has raised some concerns in the China as well as in the some sections of the Nepal who favor China. Okay, so it is, as I told you, this MCC protest have Chinese support. Okay, and what is the role of India? Okay, in the Nepal, what is the role of India and what is it in the context of this MCC Pact? What are the issues? See, if you claim that electricity generated by this pact will be only exported to India and will not be for the local public, so there is a fear, there is a suspicion that there is an understanding in the Nepal by some section that this MCC Pact will generate electricity, but it will be only for the export to India, and for the general people it will not be there. So as a result, it will not benefit the local economy, but rather it will help other countries. So Nepal hydroelectric generation potential is huge, with over 6,000 large and small rivers. However, series of the barrages and dams has been built, and India has a large control over majority of the Nepal's major rivers. Okay, so those series of the barrages and dams have been built. The India has control over the majority of the Nepal's major rivers. India has invested in the dams and barrages there. So nationalists in the Nepal have strongly objected to this. They say that India is dominating Nepal. India has a big brother attitude. India will not let Nepal to carry out its trade, to make its decision freely. So in Nepal, where India is still perceived as a middling big brother. Big brother means who is a dominating, who interferes in the economic and politics of the Nepal and tries to dominate the Nepal, its people, and try to fulfill its own interest and not pay attention to the interest of the Nepal. So its goal of strengthening India's military capability through this agreement to counter China's was questioned. So it is said that India's dominating, big brother attitude is not tolerated here. Okay, so this was the issues with this pact, and as far as India is concerned, again it has raised concern because it is said that it will be exported to the India only, local economy will not be benefited, and with that the issue of again the India's control over the major rivers of the Nepal has come to the light again, and the big brother attitude of the India, which is perceived in the Nepal, has again become the issue. Okay, so this issue, as far as the politics of the Nepal is concerned, the role of India has always been very complex, because India has always been seen as a big brother who is a dominating Nepal. Okay, and this MCC Pact has also involved the USA, and now the politics of the Nepal has again become focused on the role of China, India, and role of China, India, and USA in the Nepal, and again India, as far as India is concerned, India has to move forward carefully, balancing its interest as well as taking forward along with that its small neighbor. Okay, so as far as economic relationships are concerned, India has to be more generous. Okay, India has to improve its image in the Nepal so that it is not considered as a big brother, as a dominating country. So series of the reforms, series of the steps are still required in the India. okay, by the India for improving the India-Nepal relationship, because Nepal is very important neighbor for India, because it is sandwiched between China and India. It can act as a buffer state, and it's very important for the security of India also. And the role of the China, growing role of the China in the Nepal is still considered as a security threat to the India, for also for its economic interest in the Nepal. Now let's move to the second questions of the day. Okay. Consider the following statements regarding the Treaty of the Peace and Friendship of 1950. Okay. So some statements are given regarding the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1950. So it is, first statement is, it is a treaty signed between India and Nepal. This is correct statement. Second statement is, it establishes national treatment for both Indian and Nepali businesses. This is also true. Okay. The provision is there for the national treatment for both and Nepalese businesses, so that Nepalese businesses who are investing in India, they are given same treatment like the Indian businesses. So answer is both, that is C. Okay. So the treaty that talks about the reciprocal treatment, it talks about the reciprocal treatment of the India and Nepali citizens in the two countries in residence, property, business and movement. So there is a reciprocal treatment of India and Nepali citizens in the two countries. So you will get the reciprocal treatment in both the countries for the each other citizens. And it also establishes the national treatment of both Indian and Nepali businesses. That is, once imported foreign goods will be treated no differently than the domestic goods. That will, they will be having at par treatment with the national business groups or the Indian business groups. It also gives Nepal access to the weaponry from the India. So answer here is C. Okay. So both the statements are correct. Now let's move to the third questions of the day. Okay. The third question of the day, which says joint military exercise Surya Kiran is undertaken between which two countries? First is India Bhutan, second is India Bangladesh, then third is India Nepal, and fourth is India Sri Lanka. This is again in the news. Okay. India Nepal relationship are discussed today in this editorial. Okay. So answer is again here C, that is India Nepal. And as you can see the explanation from 2011 onwards. Okay. Every year both the countries undertaking this joint military exercise with Nepal known as a Surya Kiran. Okay. So answer is C here. Surya Kiran is a joint military exercises which is being undertaken from the 2011 onwards by the two countries. Okay. And every year this exercise is being undertaken. Let's move to the fourth question of the day. Okay. Which of the Indian state shares boundaries with the Nepal? This is very common question which is asked in the prelims examination. Okay. Many times such questions have been asked. Now the questions are not just asked regarding the state sharing the boundaries with the neighboring countries, but also they are moving towards the Atlantic Ocean, Red Sea, Caspian Sea, okay, and Mediterranean Sea, and which countries are surrounding, which countries share borders with this. So as far as this is concerned, you have to thoroughly understand not only India's map, but you have to also be aware of the world map also. Okay. As we move forward, we'll try to cover all these world map questions also. So let's try to see this question, what it says. It says that which Indian state share boundaries with Nepal? First, Uttarakhand, West Bengal, Tripura, Meghalaya. See, Tripura and Meghalaya do not share a boundary with the Nepal. So answer is Uttarakhand and West Bengal. It should be 1 and 2. Okay. So you can see from this map which countries are sharing boundaries with. Okay, Nepal. So it is Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal. Okay, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Sikkim and Bihar. Tripura and Meghalaya is not there. Okay, so answer is your D. Okay, let's move to the next question of the day. Okay, also recently the fifth BIMSTEC summit was conducted, and BIMSTEC has been in the news. So the question is, fifth BIMSTEC summit is conducted in which of the following countries? Okay, Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, Myanmar. So answer is Sri Lanka. Okay, fifth BIMSTEC summit which will be held in the Colombo in Sri Lanka on 30th March. So it was held on the 30th March, and 6 documents also likely to be adopted and signed. The theme of the fifth BIMSTEC summit was BIMSTEC towards a resilient region, prosperous economies, and healthy peoples is a theme of the fifth BIMSTEC summit. Okay, try to also get the countries where the first, second, third, fourth, at least third and fourth BIMSTEC summit was conducted. Try to also get their theme. Also, the theme of the fifth BIMSTEC summit was BIMSTEC towards a resilient region, prosperous economies, and healthy people is a theme of the fifth BIMSTEC summit. Okay, and answer is A, that is Sri Lanka. It was conducted in Sri Lanka. Again, let's move to the sixth question of the day. It is related to the BIMSTEC again. See, as the various newspaper covers the issues pertaining to the various international organization, national issues, we'll try to cover the questions on that and also try to understand what are the various issues pertaining to that. So consider the following statements regarding the BIMSTEC, and we have to choose the correct statement from these 4 statements which are given here. What is the first statement given here is this sub-regional organization, that is BIMSTEC, came into being in 1995 through the Bangkok Declaration. Okay. Second statement is initially it was formed with the 4 member states, which included Myanmar along with the other 3. Okay, the third statement is Nepal and Bhutan were added as its member in the year 2004. And fourth statement is encouraging the spirit of the equality and partnership is one of the objectives of the BIMSTEC. Okay, you have to choose the correct statement. Let's try to analyze one by one. This sub-regional organization came into being in 1995 through the Bangkok Declaration. This is a wrong statement. It came into existence through the Bangkok Declaration, but it did not came into existence in 1995, but it came into existence in 1997. Initially, it was formed with the 4 member states, which included Myanmar along with the other 3. It is also a wrong statement. Myanmar was not its original member. Okay, the 4 members in the 4 members, Myanmar was not, the original member. The third statement says that Nepal and Bhutan were added as its members in 2004. This is a correct statement. And fourth statement, encouraging the spirit of the equality and partnership is one of the objectives of the BIMSTEC, is also correct statement. So answer is your D, that is 3 and 4. Let's try to understand the explanation for that. See, this BIMSTEC means the Bay of Bengal Initiative for the Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. This full form is also to be remembered by you, because they will often say which the M stands for what, the S stands for what, E stands for what in the BIMSTEC. Okay, so you have to also get the full name of this BIMSTEC organization. This is a regional multilateral organization. Its member lies in the littoral and adjacent areas of the Bay of Bengal, consisting contiguous religious unity. So this BIMSTEC consists of the states from the southeast as well as the South Asia. Okay, now out of the 7 members, 5 are from South Asia: Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and 2 are from South Asia, that is Myanmar and Thailand. Okay, as far as the genesis, that is origin of the BIMSTEC was concerned, it came into existence in 1997. Okay, through this, okay, through the Bangkok Declaration. Okay, as I just told you, it was formed with the 4 members. So its original 4 members were India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. Okay, and its original name was BIMSTEC, that is Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand Economic Cooperation. Okay, and it became renamed as a BIMSTEC EC, that is in 1997, following the inclusion of Myanmar. So Myanmar was added in 1997. You have to remember this. Okay, and then with the admission of the Nepal and Bhutan in 2004, the name of the grouping was changed to the BIMSTEC, that is Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. Okay, so recently, just today, the article has come on the BIMSTEC cohesion and cooperation, and India must assuage the apprehension of the power imbalances among the members of the BIMSTEC. Again, among the neighbors, India's big brother attitude, dominating percept that it is a dominating, that it interferes in the internal affairs. Okay, it does not pay attention to the interests of its neighboring countries, which are smaller. Okay, such attitude, such perception among the neighboring countries of the India, okay, should be corrected by India, and whatever the power imbalance that exists in the BIMSTEC must be the apprehension regarding that power imbalances must be corrected, and India must play the role of the leader in that. So, okay. So again, the fifth BIMSTEC summit context is being there for this article, cohesion and cooperation. Okay, it says that adoption of the charter at this fifth Bay of Bengal initiative for this BIMSTEC summit promises to, re-energize the 25-year-old grouping at the time of the global uncertainties with the Russia-Ukraine war is going on. China is emerging as a giant. Okay, it is challenging the US hegemony. US is withdrawing from the global affairs. Okay, its hegemony is being challenged, not only by China but also Russia. Okay, the Europe is declining. In this context of the global uncertainties, it is very important for India, to revive, to re-energize this BIMSTEC, because these countries are neighbors, lies very geographically, they are very close to the India and play very important role in the security and economic growth and development of the India. Okay, this charter is expected to help impart more connected vision to the 7-member organization. Okay, the charter, the whatever the charter that has been adopted has re-energized. Okay, it can add new vision, and India's decision to lead the security pillar out of the 7 designated pillars of the revived BIMSTEC. So the revived BIMSTEC has a 7 designated pillars, and security pillar has been will be led by the India, which is very important, as India has the military and economic power. So India has the responsibility to shape the security architecture in this region for these BIMSTEC countries. Okay, so it will also help India to fulfill its regional aspiration to shape the regional order. Okay, so this is the context overall in which this article is being discussed. Okay, the new opportunity is also accompanied by its own set of problems. So here, cohesion and cooperation is a need of the year in and for that you have to understand first problems also. These inherent challenges were reflected in the time taken to finalize the charter. Okay, and the main issue has been the Rohingya crisis. Okay, so it has led to the some tensions in the Bangladesh and Myanmar relationship because of the Rohingyas refugees. Okay, and role of the Myanmar military has been a cause of the tension. Okay, so BIMSTEC, like SARC, must not become a platform for there's such a bilateral disputes. Okay, and it should not get stuck, and this is responsibility of India to play important role so that it not get stuck like a SARC. Okay, so what is needed is that given the complexity of the domestic and geopolitical factors, this peer will require sustained bilateral and group level discussion to prevent problems like a Rohingya crisis and BIMSTEC platform being stuck by the bilateral disputes, multilateral disputes. Okay, India too will have to ensure equally sustained political engagements with the Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh to prevent any domestic political spillover from affecting the bilateral and group working relationship. Because as far as the India's neighbors like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal are concerned, one is the India's perception as a dominating country, that is it is playing a big brother attitude, and on the other hand, these smaller countries also have some domestic problems. They often suffer from the political instability. Recently, Sri Lanka is also suffering from kind of instability. Nepal is also suffering from the political instability. Bangladesh has improved a relationship with India, but still the domestic politics of the India of the Bangladesh has to be carefully watched by India, because some parties, some sections of the Bangladesh do not favor India. Okay, So in this context, BIMSTEC has some own challenges and India has to play some important role. Okay, so with this, so India is also in taking these problems into account. India is playing some important role. It is taking the BIMSTEC in a forward direction, and also with his call for a BIMSTEC free trade agreement, the Prime Minister of India has outlined India's vision to bolster trade connectivity in the grouping. So India has proposed the free trade agreement for the BIMSTEC, so that countries can come together, gain from the India's economy, so that they can improve the connectivity. The economics will improve the politics also. Okay, and this free trade agreement between the BIMSTEC countries will bring the India's neighbors and Southeast Asia closer to India. Okay, so it will be very important for these countries as well as for India also to move forward. So in this context, one has to see this free trade agreement in the positive perspective. Okay, and the countries have a lot of potential to improve their relationship through these platforms. Let's move to the next uh, question of the day. Choose the correct statement or statements regarding the national pension system. Okay, recently the Hindu newspaper has covered this national pension system. It is in the context of the Rajasthan, because Rajasthan is trying to adapt the old pension system. Now let's see what is the question is. Choose the correct statement or statements regarding the national pension system. The first statement is that central government introduced the national pension system with effect from January 2004. Second statement is it does not apply to the armed forces in India. Third statement is National Pension System Trust is the registered owner of all the assets under the national pension system. And fourth statement is overseas citizens of India and persons of the Indian origin, PIO and OCI card holders are eligible for opening NPS accounts. So let's try to analyze one by one. Okay. So first statement is the central government introduced the NPS with effect from January 2004. This is correct statement. It does not apply to the armed forces India. This is also correct statement. The National Pension System Trust, this was established by the PFRDA, which is implementing this national pension system, is a registered owner of all the assets under NPS. This is also correct statement. Fourth statement, OCI and PIO cardholders are eligible for opening of the NPS account. This is not a correct statement. This is a false statement. OCI, PIO cardholders are not eligible for opening of the NPS accounts. So answer is your B, that is 1, 2, and 3 only. So let us try to understand about the national pension system here. See, the central government introduced the national pension system with effect from January 2004, except for the armed forces. So it does not apply to the armed forces. And in 2018, to streamline this NPS and make it more attractive, Union Cabinet approved changes in the scheme to benefit central government employees under NPS. It is being implemented and regulated by this PFRDA, okay, which is a statutory body. And this National Pension System Trust established by this PFRDA is the registered owner of all the assets under the NPS. NPS was made available to all citizens of the India from May 2009. Okay, so who are eligible to take the benefit of this? Any individual citizen of India, both resident and non-resident in the age group of 18 to 65 years can join NPS, but OCI and PIO card holders and Hindu undivided family HUF are not eligible for opening of the NPS accounts. Okay, so who are not eligible? Who are not eligible? The OCI card holders, PIO card holders, and Hindu undivided family are not eligible for the opening of the NPS account. So who are eligible? 18 to 65 years citizen of India, both resident and non-resident. Okay, and all citizens from May 2009 have been made eligible. So this is the news which has come in the newspaper. Okay, today. It says that the story so far says that on February 23, Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot announced the restoration of the old pension scheme. This old pension scheme was actually was discontinued in 2003, and it was replaced by this national pension system. Okay. Who joined the service on or after January 1, 2004. So this old pension system Rajasthan is seeking to revive. The announcement mean that the national pension system would be discontinued in the state. So again, Rajasthan will continue its old pension scheme and not the NPS. And following this, another Congress ruled state, Chhattisgarh, announced the restoration of the defined pension benefit scheme, which is called as the old pension scheme. So defined pension benefit scheme is also called as the old pension scheme. Okay. So this is the context in which the question was framed. The old pension scheme ensures a lifelong income in the post-retirement life of the employee. Okay, this assured amount is equivalent to the 50% of the last drawn salary. This national pension system was introduced in 2004. PFRDA set up through this PFRDA Act 2013 is the regulator of this NPS. Okay, what is the old pension scheme or the defined pension benefit scheme? Okay, it's a lifelong post-retirement scheme, and 50% of the last drawn salary is the usually assured amount. Government bears the expenditure incurred on the pension, and it was discontinued in 2004. And about national pension system, we just understood it. Okay, so for that 2003, the old pension scheme was discontinued. It was introduced in 2004, and Central Civil Services Pension Rules 1972 was amended after the introduction of this NPS. It is a scheme where the employee contribute to their pension corpus from their salaries with matching contribution from the government. Okay, so with matching contribution from the government, the fund goes to this national pension system with a contribution from both employee and the government. The funds are invested in the investment schemes through the pension fund managers. Okay, and at retirement, the employee can withdraw 60% of the corpus, which is tax free, and remaining 40% is invested in the some other instruments like annuities, which is tax. Okay, it has a tier 1 and tier 2 as a two components. Okay, let's move to the next question of the day. The Chauth tax and Sar Deshmukhi tax was introduced under which Maratha ruler? Okay, Sambhaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Shivaji, Pratap Singh, or none of the above. So answer is here Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, because Chauth, okay, that is 1/4, was a regular tax or a tribute imposed from early 18th century by the Maratha Empire in the Indian subcontinent. This Maratha ruler was a Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. It was an annual tax nominally levied at 25% on the revenue or produce, hence its name as Chauth, that is 1/4. It was levied on the lands which were under the nominal Mughal rule. Okay, now what is a Sar Deshmukhi tax? This Sar Deshmukhi tax was an additional 10% levy on the top of this Chauth. Okay. Now, the next question of the day is the Jizya tax. Okay, the Jizya tax was reintroduced by which Mughal ruler? Aurangzeb, Akbar, Bahadur Shah, or none of the above? So answer is your Aurangzeb. Okay, answer is your A. Let us try to understand its explanation. So this Jizya tax is a tax levied and collected per head by the Islamic states on the non-Muslim subjects living in their land. It was initially abolished by Akbar, but later on it was again introduced by Aurangzeb. In India, Qutb-ud-din Aibak imposed this jizya tax on non-Muslim for the first time. Okay, so this Qutb-ud-din Aibak introduced this for the first times on the non-Muslim, and it was abolished by the Mughal ruler Akbar in the 16th century, but again was reintroduced by the Aurangzeb in the 17th century. In the Hindu newspaper, okay, this question answer series, that is quiz series, has been coming. It's very important. You have to read it very carefully. Questions can be directly taken from this quiz also. Okay, today they have given the quiz on the RBI. Okay, tomorrow its answer will be coming. We'll try to cover that also. So first quiz that was asked yesterday, the answer that of that quiz is given here. The tax introduced in the 1958 and 59 on the items received in the form of cash, draft, check, or others in the excess of 50,000 was called as a gift tax. Okay, breast tax. Okay, what is the breast tax? The tax which was imposed on the Nadars, Iswars, Iswa women from the chair thala served a part of her body in the protest against the tax. Okay, then this jump or go bricks have been discussed here. We take the Chaut tax and Sar Deshmukhi tax, which were introduced by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. The slogans which originated in the American Revolution and expressed a key grievance of the American colonists against the Great Britain was no taxation without representation. This slogan was also raised by the Indian nationalists when the British rulers, okay, ruled India. The Mughal emperor who abolished the Jizya tax in 1579. Okay, the year is 1579. Okay, and who revived it? So Akbar abolished it while Aurangzeb reintroduced it. Okay. Today, the news has also been come regarding the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958. Okay, disturbed areas have been considerably reduced in Assam and other states. Okay, Home Minister has said that. So let's try to take this question on this Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958. Which statements are correct about the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958? Okay, the first statement is the act in its original form was promulgated by the British in response to the Quit India movement in 1942. Yes, this is correct statement. Second statement is Punjab was the first state from where it was repealed. The third statement is it is in the force in Assam, Manipur, and parts of the Arunachal Pradesh. So first statement is correct. Yes, the act was in its original form promulgated by British rulers in response to the Quit India movement to suppress the movement. Punjab was the first state from where it was repealed. Yes, this is also correct statement. It is in the force in Assam, Manipur, parts of the Arunachal Pradesh. Yes, this is also correct statement. Let's try to understand its explanation. Recently, the repeal of the AFSA was news in the Nagaland also because of the killing. Okay, by the killing in the Mon has become the serious issue there in the northeastern state. Okay, and Nagaland then leaders and chief minister and Meghalaya chief minister have both called for this repeal of this AFSA Act. So try to understand that the act in its original form was promulgated by the British in the response to the Quit India movement 1942. After independence, Jawaharlal Nehru, okay, who was the prime minister, decided to retain the act and was first brought in as an ordinance, and then it was notified as an act in 1958. The act has been imposed on the north states, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab during the military years. Okay, so during the militancy years, it was imposed here, but the Punjab was the first state from where it was repealed now. So it does not exist there. It is not implemented there, followed by Tripura and Meghalaya. So from Tripura and Meghalaya, it has been repealed. Okay, so it does not exist in Punjab, Tripura and Meghalaya, but it remains in force in Mizoram, Nagaland, Manipur, Assam, Jammu and Kashmir, and parts of the Arunachal Pradesh. So Assam, Mizoram, Nagaland, Manipur, Jammu and Kashmir, and parts of the Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, we had covered in detail these issues pertaining to the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Okay, what are the special powers given to the armed forces? What are the procedural safeguards against that? What are the problems with the act? Okay, and what are the solutions? We have already covered, all these things in our earlier lectures. So just go there and we will get the detailed analysis of this. Let's try to cover this question. Okay, current account deficit has again been in the news as far as this Russia-Ukraine crisis is going on, rising oil prices. Okay, which of the following factors can impact the current account deficit in India? Rising oil prices, appreciating the dollars against rupee, and remittances by the Indians living outside India. Okay, so answer is okay, 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 3 only. So, very easy question. The answer is C, 1, 2, and 3. This current account deficit. Okay, means how much goods and services you are exporting and how much goods and services you are importing. Okay. In addition to that, okay, what are the various transfers given to the India, like foreign aid, remittances, etc. All are, under the current account deficit calculation. So there are 4 components of this current account deficit. You will learn this in your economics basic concept lecture. Okay, so let's cover this quickly. The goods, that is trade in goods. Services called as the invisibles, trade in services, example tourism. Income, investment income. Okay, current unilateral transfers. Okay, donations, gifts, grants, remittances, also called as a private transfers. So what is the current account deficit? It simply has a 4 components: export minus import, that is trade deficit, plus net income from abroad, that is how much income you have earned and how much income you have given to the other countries through profit, dividends, okay, investments, income, etc. And then net transfer. Okay, so what is your foreign aid, all these things, remittances, vagare. So trade deficit, net income from abroad plus net transfers is the formula for the current account deficit. Okay, and current account deficit is impacted by rising oil prices. Okay, because here what will happen? Here your imports will be more than exports. Okay, so your trade deficit will increase. As a result, your current account deficit will increase. Then appreciating the dollar against rupee, it will lead to the rising import bill, because payment in the US dollars will become costly for India because of the rising value of the dollar. So import bill will be more. So as a result, trade deficit will increase. As a result, current account deficit will increase. Remittances by the Indians, whether if the remittances are more, then the net transfers will be more. Okay, the net transfers, that means the incoming transfers will be more to the India, and as a result your current account deficit will moderated, or it will decrease. And if the remittances out of the India are more, then current account deficit will increase. So in this way, all these 3 factors will impact your current account deficit. Okay, so we have covered these 12 questions, okay, for today. Tomorrow we'll again try to cover the more questions from not only the tomorrow's newspaper, but also today's newspapers. In addition to that, I will try to cover the current affairs questions from the last 1 year also. So we'll try to cover more than 2000 MCQs based on the current affairs. So till then, goodbye, take care, and good.